20th of July, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora.
With the din of the Shvua. We're on the bottom of we're getting close to turn the page, 96b, all the way down on the bottom over there. So, Lou, did you want to go over this again? There was some questions that we had.
I'm trying to remember.
This is we got, oh yeah, you had a question. I remember the question right now. Okay, so here's what the deal is. We have a machlokes here between Rabbi Meir and the Chachamim about the shivcha who gave birth, and the sellers sold the shivcha, right? And the question, we had a question over here that for some reason which we don't understand, Rashi in Dibur Maskil Yeshava Mocher, Rashi makes a point of bringing in what is not apparent at all from the Gemora, that the dispute between the buyer and the seller is not only over who owns the baby slave, but also whether the mother was a shivcha shlema with both hands or not, because the Bach put into the Gears of Rashi over here. He says you got to read that kagon dekota lioda, the aim that you have to put in. Says the Bach that Rashi is talking about a case where the mother's hand was cut off, and therefore that's what Rashi means when he explains that the Lokeach says, I bought a shivcha shlema that you owe me, a full shivcha with all of her evarim, and the seller says, no, ain't shivcha shlema yesh lecha biadi. There's no shivcha shlema to you in my possession, as though to say, all I have is a shivcha who has one hand instead of two. And in addition to that, he says about lo vlada, but not a vlad. You don't have that either. So Lou asked, why does Rashi need to bring in the discussion? Here we're talking about that we're talking about making a shvua, and the halacha is that a shvua deraisa is obligated to exempt the seller if he is in admission in part to the claim of the buyer, and he's a motive mixus. He's motive in part, and another part he is in denial. He's in denial river, doing his needs over there like Paro. And so he's in denial. So why do we have to have a case where where this unfortunate incident happened, that she had her hand cut off? Don't we, in any case, have a case of motive mixus that he's going to have to make a shvua on, simply because of the fact that the buyer, rather than the seller, simply because of the fact that the seller is saying, yes, it's true, you bought a shivcha, and I have a shivcha in my possession that belongs to you. That's true. But in regard to the Vlad, in regard to the baby that was born, the baby is not yours, not yours. So he's moda in regard to the shivcha, but he's a kofer in regard to the baby. So that itself will be a case where he's moda mixus, where he's partially in agreement. He's making a partial agreement, and that would already be mechayev and shvua. We don't need to talk about the absence of the hand or not. That was the question. So, what do we have to say about this question? Does Art Scroll have any comment on that? Do they bring that anybody asks this question? There's a long Tosus over here. I wonder, just skim through to see if he broaches this subject.
One who makes a partial admission must swear in order to exempt himself from payment, but the part does not admit. It's a bit more complex.
There should be a note on the words Yeshava HaMocher. The Mocher, according to Rabbi Meir over here, he's going to make a shvua, the seller. Seller's going to make a shvua that all he owes is this much, and he doesn't owe any more than that. Oh, 1 second over here. I don't see any anyone that asked a question on the page. We need a Otzera Chachma. You know that we had an opportunity to look in the 120,000 Svarim that are in the Otzera Chachma. Maybe one of those 120,000 would ask this question. But okay, the
Art Scroll note goes on longer. And it tries to explain the Rashi because it really does get into Halech. So I didn't think you wanted to do that yet.
Yeah, right. Halech is. I didn't want to get into that because we haven't seen the Gemora yet. The Gemora is.
That's why that's what it's saying. It's trying to explain the Rashi about having that, and the Caliph doesn't happen until it says 100B. So we have about 4 blot to go before it gets to it. because we're finishing 96 now, we're going to 100.
Oh, you mean that might be, I
So that's
see
what
over
it-
here.
That's when it's finally explaining it, the Halach factor as to why the swearing is different, why it would work or not work. So I don't know if you really want to read this art scroll note, or you want to wait till you get to later. Because that art scroll note always talked about that Halach.
And it mentions the hand of the maidservant?
Yes. You want me to read that, Rashi? Or you want Roy to read that art scroll?
Yeah. I think, this might have something if they're mentioning the hand, that will be very
Okay. You want to,
helpful.
Roy, do you want to read? You want me to read it?
That's what we want to know about. We want to know about the hand.
No, you read it. I don't know. Where is it?
Where you left off 2 seconds ago in that same Rashi note, you stopped.
Oh,
And that art scroll note number 50. It's the second
Oh.
paragraph.
all right. Now you go.
Okay. It says, actually, the matter is a bit more complex. The Gemara on Bava, let's see, 100b, notes that the law, when one makes a partial admission, must swear, does not apply in the case of Halach.
Oh,
That is, where the portion to which the defendant admits stands ready for the plaintiff to take. For an admitted portion such as this is no longer considered part of the plaintiff's claim, and thus the defendant's denial is considered a truthful denial, kofer hakol, of the remaining portion of the claim, rather than the partial admission of a larger claim. And it says Sibam and Sia 4. Accordingly, the seller's admission that he is obligated to transfer the mother would generally not obligate him to swear, since the mother stands ready to be taken. The Gemara therefore explains that the Bryce refers to where the seller also cut off the mother's hand. Accordingly, the seller's admission obligates him to pay for the mother's hand in addition to surrendering the mother herself. Hence, this is not a Halach situation, and the seller is required to swear since he admits part of the claim, the hand, and denies part, which is the offspring.
Rabbi, you're muted.
okay. Sorry about that. I don't know how that happened,
Mm.
but it did.
I didn't notice until I looked up. I was reading some, sorry.
So this note is the answer to Lou's question. Exactly the answer to the question. This is like a what do you call it? Like a detective story over here. All these various facts that Rashi mentions over here fit into a puzzle, so we could figure what the plot is. What was the plot? And Rashi's plot was that because of the fact that there's a halacha that we didn't learn yet called Halach, because of that halacha, this shvua would not otherwise be required to be made. And that's because the Halach says that Halach means here it is. And because of the fact that the shivcha, which the seller is admitting that he owes to the buyer, which is right still now in his possession, he could just say, "Hey, look, here she is, and like that now, according to the law of Halach, means that whole story with the shivcha is out of the picture. And now only thing that's left is they're arguing about the baby. Is the baby yours? Is the baby mine? Oh, well, in that case, the buyer is saying the baby's mine, and the seller is saying no, the baby is mine. And so, like that, we do not have a case of motive mixus anymore. We have a case where the seller is what we call a kofer akol. He's denying the whole claim of the buyer. And so, like that, mina Torah, he would not be required to make a shvua. And that's why Rashi needs to tell me that that's where this fact, this hidden mysterious fact about the hand of the shivcha comes into the story. Because since it's really now a dispute over the hand, so then Halech, explains Rashi, is not possible to apply. That the halacha of Halech is not possible to apply in that case anymore, because there is a dispute about the shivcha herself as well. It's not a case of Halech anymore, that he's in total agreement. Here's your shivcha, and let's not discuss that matter of the case anymore. That's no longer part of the case anymore. No, that's part of the case, because he's saying that her hand was. He's saying you were not entitled to have a shivcha shlema, and he's saying yes, I was entitled to have a shivcha shlema, and so now like that makes halach not possible, and now it's back to the case of motive mixus and a shvua. So without fully understanding it, that's the explanation based upon what Phil read from the Art Scrolls notes. Very good. And that's the answer to Lou's question. A very good question.
Good question, but not a good answer. I don't understand this halach. This here it is. I don't understand what that means.
Well, that's because we have not learned this Gemora yet. That's the Gemora later on. But that's the din. That's the din of halach. The din of halach would make this case not a case of moda mixus.
So my question was, why can't we say that the seller says, I admit I owe you a slave woman. I just don't admit that I owe you a slave woman who has not given birth yet. So I'm admitting to part of it.
Well, that's the thing. We don't. That was your original question. In order to make this case a moda mixus case, we didn't understand why you need the argument about whether she's got a hand or not. They're arguing about the baby, who owns the baby. So we already got a moda mixus case. So what do we need the hand for?
That's my question. I don't understand how we've answered that.
Okay, so that involves understanding how this halacha of halach works.
Okay, so we got to wait until we study that and then come back here.
Yeah. I explained it as very simply and superficially, and based upon what I heard from the note that Phil read. You could look in that note again, and maybe it'll be more appetizing if you read it another time. Yes, as 100%. Ultimately, the only way to really understand it is to see the din of halach in its natural habitat, and that is on that's on where is that? That's in Perek HaShoel, which is on Kuf Vav Amud Aleph. It's 106a. We'd have to take a look over there in that Gemora. How the din of halach works.
It's in 106a. Bava Metzia 106a.
No, I think it's in Bava Metzia? Or is it in Bava Kama? I think it's in Bava, I think it's here in this Masechta. Perek HaShoel is in this Masechta. You want to look at it now? Let's look at it now.
So we're looking at what? At Bava Kama 106A. Is that right?
Yes,
Bava Kama 106A. Oh, good. It's in the same volume as I got here. Don't have to run around. 107. So we're looking for a what?
we're looking for this principle of here it is, Halech.
Yeah, let's see. All right. Okay.
Sneak over here. You got the Gemora?
Yes, right.
I've got 106A, but I've not been able to find Halech.
I've gone through to 106.5.
Okay, according to the note, the Halach is on 100B.
Oh,
100B, I thought we said 106.
Well, that's that
Oh,
note
I'm
says.
sorry, I made a
the note-
mistake.
That
I
note
looked
says
in the wrong
100B.
Masoras Shas.
There's 100B.
Samech, it's 100B, yeah.
Hmm.
You have it it's in Masoras Shas, Os Samech. Kuf. Kuf Ahmed Base. Now, 1 second, I believe that, you know what? I think you're right. I think it is in Bava Metzia. Perek HaShoel is in Bava Metzia. It's Kuf Ahmed Base.
Oh, it says Bava Metzia 100, not Bava Kama. So we're on the wrong
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Rashi said in Perek HaShoel. So you got to know that Perek HaShoel is in Bava Metzia. Okay, so we got the right page.
Bava Metzia 100
Which
and
volume is that?
Okay, so now
100 base.
where do we see it on the page? Halech.
Now I've got to get back. But we'll come up, Bava Metzia.
Yeah, Tanan Tanu Chitim Vahodim Saorim Potter Gamliel Machayev Kati Halech. Good.
And it's got 100 one's got 100. Hmm.
Okay. So on 100B4,
Really, I have it on 100B2.
reading the end, it says there, where do we have 100B2?
100B2
Oh,
on the top of the page. It says, Akati Halech Ku.
right. We already mentioned the concept of Halech before, but Phil's probably referring to we have the very same brisa that we have in Bava Kama. That very same brisa is quoted in Bava Metzia.
So what's it, on top, 100B, what?
2.
100B2, the top of the page somewhere.
Yeah, a left-hand column, second paragraph. The Gemora answers this objection.
Thank you.
That case is not the same case we were talking about where ours was. It's a different case.
Yeah.
This is a case of wheat
Right,
and barley.
right. Well, the case where the hand is cut off is 100B4.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the very same brisa that we have in our Gemora Bava Kama is quoted later on in the middle of the page in Bava Metzia on the same page.
Where is the word halech on 100B4?
It catches it in the middle, at the end. It says it's not a helix situation.
In the
Oh, it
middle,
says
at
it in
the
the
end?
At the end, it talks about the hand,
The end of 100B4?
just before the Mishnah, just before the Mishnah. 100B4, just before the Mishnah.
It's not a Halef situation.
It's not a helix situation.
But it doesn't say halech.
The art scroll adds in the word halech. The question is what the word halech means. The halech is basically taken. Here it is.
So 100 and 100B4. Just before the Mishnah.
Oh,
Well,
boy.
according to the footnote, he does have to swear, quoting Rashi.
Right, because Rashi's explaining the way Rashi has the case with that her hand is cut off like that. It's not a case of halech. If the hand would be if there would be no issue with the hand. This is the point. If there would be no issue with the hand, and the whole issue is that the claimant is demanding the shivcha and also the baby, and the claimee is admitting on the shivcha and denying the baby. If that would be the case, so then that would be a case of halech, because it's not regarded as a case of moda mixus, which would be machayav shvua, because in regard to this matter of the shivcha that they're arguing about, I mean, that's part of their claim. That's part of his claim. He's claiming, "Give me the shivcha." The claimee is in admission. He's admitting that He's admitting that, and he has the shifcha right here, and he
He's
could just say,
admitting
"Hey,
what? What is that? He's admitting what?
he's admitting that he owes the guy the shifcha, and so if the shifcha, if there was no issue of a hand, he could just say, here's the shifcha, Halech, here's the shifcha, here's your shifcha, and like that, he's able to take the issue of the shifcha out of the case. There's no more case with the shifcha, and the whole case is about who does the baby belong to, and like that, there's no longer a modem mixes case.
But the problem is that if he says here she is, the seller says no, that's not here she is, because here she is now, she has no baby. And my claim is that she had a baby.
No, he's asking for two things. He's asking for the shifcha, he's asking for the baby. They're separate now. There's no doubt about that. There's separate claims. So he's saying, yeah, I agree that you owe me that I owe you the shifcha, and here she is, Halech. Rashi says over by us in this Rashi Divramasi Yeshava Mocher. It's the end of the first wide line. Rashi says, Umishum Halech loy mifter. He's not going to be exempt on this shvua over here, based upon the din of Halech, based upon simply just saying, here's the shivcha. The hakata yada below Halechu. This is not a case of Halech, because the hand was her hand was cut off, and now there is a dispute also on the shivcha. The shivcha is also a matter of dispute now. You can't just say, "Hey, look, here's the shivcha," because the claimant is saying, "I was supposed to get from you a shivcha shalema," and the claimee is saying, "No, I don't have a shivcha shalema for you. Here's the one that I've got for you," but you can't say halech on that, because he's arguing with him about whether he's supposed to give him a shivcha shlema or not. If they were in agreement about the type of shivcha that's supposed to be given, so then he could say halech, and then there would be no din of a shvua over here. But we have to say that that's why Rashi is putting in this missing fact about the hand of the shivcha, because otherwise it would be a case of halech, and like that, then we wouldn't be able to learn the brisa. The brisa says that according to Reb Meir, there's a shvua over here. There's a chiyuv for him to make a shvua, and the chachamim say no, there's no shvua over here. We see from the brisa the whole issue is whether there's a shvua over here, and according to Rashi, if it's possible to because of the din halech to give back the shivcha, there's no issue about the shivcha. He's an admission in total about the shivcha. He just has to say halech. So then there would be no motive mixus anymore. The only thing that they'd be disputing is the baby, and in regard to the baby, it's a kofar kol. He's saying you don't. He says I get the baby, and he says no, you don't. So that's not a case of motive mixus anymore. So therefore, Rashi is understanding that the Bryce is talking about this additional fact that they're in argument even about the shivcha itself, and therefore the din of halech is not applicable over here. We cannot say that there's a din of halech over here, that he'd be able to just say here's the shivcha, and like that there's no longer any there's no longer any case about the shifcha. All there is a case about the baby.
Okay, it's 12:30 and I have to go. I'm not, tomorrow I have to be with the grandchildren, so I wish you a good Shabbos. You know, it's the hope,
Where's the
hope is a good
babysitter?
goal. You gotta, certain days you gotta take them. Be a day next week also, so whatever. Okay, take care, be well.
See
Okay,
you,
Phil.
Take care.
See you, Phil. Shkoyach.
Rabbi Levitt,
Bill found the art scrolls.
yeah, Rabbi Levitt,
Yes.
it says that it says that a slave is the same as piece of land, right?
That's according to the Chachamim, not according to Reb Meir.
Ah, okay, all right. Because I was going to ask if the same things happened to the piece of land. Say someone took your land while you were away and sold part of it, or farmed part of it, something like that. That sort of that'd be
Right. Right. So
yeah.
in that case, there's no shvua.
Mhm.
There's no obligation because of motive and mixus, a partial admission to make a shvua in regard to karka. Because that's another din that we have to learn about. Why is it? But that is a din that there's no shvua on karka. And according to the Chachamim, that's why they say there's no shvua over here in the case of the Eved either. This is a case of an Eved, and an Eved, according to the Chachamim, has a legal status as being like karka, and therefore there's no possibility for a shvua over here, even though it's a case of moda mixus, of a partial admission.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
See you, Master Shem, tomorrow. What's tomorrow?
Yom Chamishi,
What's that? Thursday?
Thursday.
Oh, just a minute. Will I see you Thursday? Just a minute. I'm not too sure. Might have to accompany my wife to the hospital. She's going to have a procedure with her eyes.
Oh, okay.
And I forgot.
Well, it should be with bracha and hatzlacha.
Thank you. So if I'm not there
Siyata
tomorrow,
d'shmaya.
that's what I'm doing.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, all the best, everybody.
All right.
Okay,
Goodbye to
bye-bye.
Lou, goodbye to
Mazel tov
Roy,
again to you, Alan.
Thank you.
and mazel tov again to Alan. Baruch Hashem.
Mhm.